Hello, I've recorded this case study on creative gardens and driveways to try and show you in a bit of detail how we work with our clients. We've worked with creative since about 2022. They had a very good sort of post-COVID boom as landscaping was really getting busy and popular with people doing work on their gardens. And David Creative approached us when that was starting to tail off, and he was looking at what he could do to improve his search ranking, number of inquiries coming in, and so on. They're based in Cheshire and target the sort of the higher end garden design and landscaping. Typically, projects from about 50,000 through to 500,000, something like that. And they're a fantastic company, very very high quality work, excellent reviews from their customers. Do everything the right way, do everything very very professionally. When we were approached by them, the old website they had didn't really show the quality of work they could do. So they'd done the work, they had a good portfolio, but the website didn't really show, just how good they were. They were more winning work on the back of what they'd done in the past and word of mouth and so on, rather than from people that were searching online for a garden design landscaping company and then liking what they saw and getting in touch. So really the remit in the beginning was to transform the whole online look, improve the search ranking, get the social media working well, and so on. And we sort of worked on all areas. In terms of the website, so this is what 2.5 years old now, and it's evolved and grown since we first built it. And really, that's what should happen with a website. My kind of view on a website is when we build it in the beginning, the goal is to get a new site live as quickly as possible and submit it to Google and start working on search ranking, and then work on improving the website, adding more and more to it, adding more content, projects, blog posts, and so on. So the way we've structured this site is as follows, and there's some principles here that follow true for any kind of successful website in this industry. A few basics is a menu at the top that's simple and, most importantly, easy to get in touch. So phone number, a contact form that pops up here. So there's very simple, easy contact options. We've split this site into gardens and driveways as their two principal areas. So under gardens, we've got their key services. Under driveways, the types of driveway they do, projects, gallery of past work, blog, resources, and so on. I do think with every website, it's important to understand there are three types of page. There's the pages designed to rank well in search results and bring people to the site in the first place. Blog is a key one, because in a blog we can write an article on the sorts of things people are searching for, the questions they're asking, and we can put in 1,000, 1,500 words without it being too wordy. Whereas a page on, say, garden design needs to be a lot more focused at persuading the person looking at it to make contact. So a blog is a fantastic page for search ranking. We also build pages which are designed to target specific areas. So in landscaping, gardening, tree surgery, people are looking for someone local, typically within 15, 20 miles of where they live. They don't want somebody 100 miles away, they want someone nearby. So within the whole SEO search ranking process, we're targeting the local search. And a site like this, I'm going to have to come down the bottom here to find the pages. We have quite a number of location pages targeting key areas and then keywords within those areas. So, landscape, garden, Altrincham, paving, decking. We've also got pages aimed at the most popular searches: garden design, garden designer, landscaping company, paving company, things like that. And within those pages, they're not designed really for general consumption. They're designed to rank well in search results, bring somebody onto the website, and then when they're here, then they start looking around at all the good stuff, start looking at all the services, start looking at the past projects, and so on. So of the three types of website page, the first one is an SEO targeted one. The second is a page to show what you do. So the person that's looking for a landscaping company to do a patio, pergola, etc., you need to demonstrate that you can do those things. So pages like this here, this paving page as an example, showing that you do paving, the types of paving you do, some examples of paving, things like that. so they know that, yes, you can do exactly what they want. And then the last type of page is the what I think of as a sales page. So the pages that persuade someone that's browsing to pick up the phone or fill in a form and make contact. I think on most landscaping tree surgery websites there are two key sales pages. First one is projects, and the second one is about the company, meet the team. No good inquiry really is going to get in touch without looking at those pages. If someone's thinking about a £100,000 garden redesign, they're going to look at the past projects. They're going to see what you've done in the past, probably look at most of them. Then they're going to read all about the company and see who's behind it. Then they're going to fill in a form or pick up the phone. They're unlikely just to come to the website and straight away make a phone call to you. So these pages are very, very important. And I don't think you can have too many, really, so long as they're good. So what I particularly like are pages like this, where Dave's recorded a video talking through the process. So talking through how they did the design, how they built the garden, and then showing what the finished thing looks like. One of the challenges always is that in landscaping garden design, more so than tree surgery, the audience can't really visualize what should be happening. So they know they've got a garden they're not happy with, and they want it to look fantastic in the summer so they can have barbecues out there, have their friends and family over, and and sit in the sunshine. That's what they want. But for most people, it's a once in a lifetime thing. You don't get the garden done every couple of years. It's a one-off thing, a big garden redesign, and therefore they need to understand how it can happen. And by looking at photos, often they can't sort of visualize what needs to be done. For example, this one here, this is a before photo, and the owners of this house, they weren't happy with this area of their garden there. They wanted something more useful. There's obviously a bench there in amongst the sort of the rockery, the flower bed. They wanted somewhere they could actually use and would complement the rest of the garden. And here's a design image. Here's one of the finished photos. These photos show what it will look like and then what it does look like, but they don't explain the detail behind it. And the great thing about video is that you can tell the story. You can tell the story of how the design is done, why it's done in that way, the features of it, and everything else. For example, this particular one. So here's the area that that's been redesigned. We've got some steps up to a raised level here. We've got a raised patio area here where the old rockery was. I know these are Corten steps here, which are going to obviously rust and turn into a lovely orange color. This is a steel wall running around here that's curving. And from the top of the garden, I know this from watching the video Dave's done, it's got sort of an infinity look, looking out over the garden. So there's so much there, but the average person coming in to this website that's thinking about getting their garden done will just look at that and say, okay, that looks fine. And then look at that and say, all right, there we go. And have a look at some of the gallery photos, during the actual project, after the project. And then they're on to the next page. They'll skim through quickly and be on to the next page rather than understanding exactly what's gone on, understanding the expertise that's gone into producing this and the work that's gone into making it turn out the way it should do. And in a video, and this video here is I think about 4 or 5 minutes long, in a video you're able to demonstrate your expertise and show exactly how you go about doing the design, exactly how you go about doing the work, and really persuade the person viewing it that you are a very, very good company and therefore one they should pick up the phone to. So as a sales page, projects are extremely important. The other very important sales page, as I mentioned, is the about page. And in there, a page on the company, the history of the company, who you are, what you are, etc., what you stand for. And I'm a big fan of a meet the team page, just showing who are the people behind the company. So who will be working on site, who will be turning up each day. There's things that are really important to the average homeowner. So they are 3 types of page then. One for SEO, which is blog location type pages. One to tell people what you do, service pages, and one that's going to sell the company and persuade them to contact you, which is projects and about the company. There's a few other bits and pieces on this site that are sort of going on that are easy to overlook. The homepage is big. There's a lot of content on the homepage because pretty much everybody will look at the homepage, and we want them to see as much as possible. So we've got various photos coming down. We've got the services. We've got a video there about one of the projects, some little sales messages about the company. Here's some photos, a few reviews. What have we got here? Links to some of the projects, blog posts. There's a little call to action, little sales message, and then at the bottom there, just a few bits of basic information, company details, accreditations, and so on. So there's a lot of different things on the homepage on the basis that everybody's going to look at it, and Google is going to recognize it as a key page on the website that has lots of information about the company and what they do and so on. So that's that's an important page, and the reason it is so long is to get all of that sort of information in. Social media is key. We're linking to Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube from the top here, from the header, just because we've got so much useful, persuasive information about the company on there. Tree surgery and landscaping are somewhat different from the point of view that tree surgery is often a quick decision, i.e., particularly if you had a storm and the trees have come down, you want to find a company you can use quickly, whereas landscaping, garden design is often a long sort of gestation period between thinking it would be nice to do the garden and actually doing it. Often people will think about it for 2, 3, 4 years before they actually make contact. So social media is a fantastic way of keeping them warm, just telling them more about what you've been doing and who you are, all those sorts of things until they're ready. One or two other bits and pieces on this site. We've got, let me start down the bottom left here. If I move that up here, we've got a little Google review widget here. If someone clicks on that, then they can see some of the recent reviews they've received. Average is 4.8 from 47 reviews. Unfortunately, they had a couple of reviews. I think one was about 2016, one was about 2020 that were negative, and both of them were, we didn't think it was going to be as expensive as this to do the garden. So not the quality of their work, but more that they just couldn't afford to have it done. Unfortunately, there are reviewers like that. There's the reviewers that will leave a negative review just because they didn't like how you parked the van, things like that. But we have to live with those kinds of people. My view always on reviews is get as many as you can, and therefore if the odd one isn't very good, it's not the end of the world. We've also got a couple other bits here. We've got a little chat down there, which it doesn't get a huge number of inquiries, but it gets a few. People that just sort of view it as a quicker way to get a response will do that. Typically, we find the best ones are telephone or contact form. And then over here, Dave wrote the content for a garden design guide, which we sort of put together for him. And all we've got here is a name email to download this garden design guide. There's a little overview to it there. And what we're trying to achieve here is to capture people's contact details, capture their names and email addresses on the basis that this is a company in Cheshire. People coming to the website are probably in Cheshire. And if they're thinking about having the garden designed, there's a good chance that they may be a potential customer in the future. So, as well as building up contacts, inquiries for people ready to do something now, we're trying to grow a database long term. And we'll send out an email to the database every probably 6 weeks with something of interest to them, a new project, a video, information on a particular subject that's timely, things like that. And we want to grow that database as large as possible because we know there's a lot of people that may not be ready today, but may be ready next summer or the summer after. And something like this that's viewed as a useful thing, i.e. a useful garden design guide, they're likely to submit their name and email address to get a copy, and then we build up a bigger and a bigger database for them that we can market to in the future. So that's the website. a website on its own is not enough. A website you've got to have, and it's got to be very good, and it's got to work in lots of different ways to generate inquiries. But you need a lot more than just a website to do well these days. Key starting point for any client we're working with on the marketing is their Google business profile. So this is Creative Gardens' Google business profile. It's the block on the right that shows up when someone searches for the company. And there's quite a lot of stuff going on here. We've got photos at the top here of past work. We've got company name, address there, obviously contact details and so on. We put in their services as products just because it's a way that we can put in a photo, bit of text, and then a link back to the specific page on the website it's relevant to. We also have a block of text here about the company, and we post in the same way that we post on social media. We post on the Google business profile probably about 4 or 5 times a month, again linking back to relevant content on the website. So there's a lot of stuff in there. When someone searches online, a lot of the time they'll be searching for things like garden designer near me, garden design company, plus the location, fence installer, tree surgeon, all those different things. So the content of the website is designed to show up for those types of searches in 2 different areas. One is that there's the sort of the Google Maps listing. So when you do a search for, say, a garden designer or a search for a paving company, you'll be presented with 3 results on Google Maps of companies close to you. So Creative, as an example, in their area, show up very highly within, I think, about an 8 or 9 mile radius of where they're based on Google Maps. Beyond that, there's the other side of the search ranking is the page after page of search results, which we also want them to show up in, and all the content we're adding to the website helps with that. Because really what we're trying to do is make sure that people become aware of the company so that they keep on finding them. They search for a garden designer this month and they come across them. Maybe they're down a little way in the search results and they come across them and think, oh, Creative Gardens, I've heard of them before. A couple of months later, they're searching for automated pergolas or something like that, and they come across Creative Gardens again. 6 months later, they're still not ready to do anything, but they are still looking around, garden designer near me, landscaping company, all that kind of stuff. And they keep coming across Creative Gardens. And what we want them to do is to find the company and keep finding the company and keep on coming in to the website, looking at little bits and pieces, having a look at garden rooms, having a look at, maybe a driveway, maybe 1 or 2 of the projects, becoming more and more familiar with the business. Ideally watching 1 or 2 videos and hearing Dave's voice and realizing that he's very knowledgeable and knows what he's doing. And from all that exposure, we go from the point of them not knowing Creative Gardens and Driveways to a year later when they're ready to get someone around because they've got the money, that they've decided this is a year we're going to do the garden. They've made a decision in their own heads that it's going to be this company. This is a company we want. So long as we can afford it, this is a company we want. They're not looking for 5 or 6 different companies to come around and who is the cheapest because we're going to go for the cheapest option possible. That kind of work, I think for probably all of our clients, then they're not interested in it. If you're competing on price, it's a short route to going out of business. Rather, it's the people that have got the money, are looking to have a proper professional company do it for them, do everything the right way and end up with a really good result. And ideally we don't want them getting 3 quotes, we want them getting 1 quote and deciding that this company, these are the experts, we're going to use them no matter what, because we've heard so much about them, we've been following them on Facebook and Instagram, we've watched the videos, we've seen the projects, we've downloaded the guide to garden design. We feel like we know Creative Gardens and Driveways and can trust them. Yes, maybe they're more expensive than others. However, we know that what they do will be excellent. And 5 years, 10 years, 15 years from now, we'll still be really happy with it. So that's what we're trying to achieve with all of our clients, that kind of positioning before the potential customer even picks up the phone, that that they are the expert. And I think we're very much there with creative. They are doing very well. Yeah, we're obviously only a part of that because a lot of the work comes down to the way that Dave presents their services to customers, and the way that they manage their team, and the quality of work they do, and everything else. But over the last 2 or 3 years, they do seem to have come on very well. And just looking at the quality of projects and so on they're doing, it really is first rate. And in and around their area, the competition isn't particularly good. It's not as though lots of others are kind of showing up well in search results. It's them. We've got them up at the top in most of the key searches. They're the company that is always showing up. I suspect for their competitors, it's a bit disappointing because they keep on coming up against them. But that's what we want. We want them to dominate in their local market, and people to sort of perceive them to be a bit different to everybody else. So I hope that gives a good overview to how we work with Creative Gardens and Driveways. And any questions, then by all means get in touch with me.